That's right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to That Wrasslin podcast. This is your boy, Sheepshifter. I'm here with Soulamazin, Streetkilln HD, and your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Benjamin Rivers. What's up, guys?
Oh, that guy?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Not much, man. Not much.
That's his favorite. It's his favorite phrase to call anybody he likes. The man, the myth, the legend.
The man, the myth, the legend is here.
We get it. We get it, Ben. Yeah, we get it.
Let's Rawunion.
Let's jump right on into it. We had the Rawunion.
Oh, that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing.
I don't really know what to make of it. There were good spots and bad spots, but
But I'm sure you have your highlights ready for us to give us all the good spots.
Actually, I don't, but I'm going to just run through them pretty quickly. Because, I mean, almost all of it was kind of a highlight, so we'll probably spend more time on Raw than we do any of the other shows or anything like that. We'll go into it a little bit more in depth, and then we'll kind of breeze through SmackDown. I don't even think we'll cover Smackville, because it doesn't even matter.
What?
We'll just talk about we'll talk about how average and plain it was.
Oh, that's good.
So the first thing that popped off was we had the return of John Cena to a pretty good pop in the crowd. Good stuff here.
Yeah, this is good.
And then you had he did basically the same speech that Stone Cold did later, you know, about how we're all their family. If that's the case,
I mean, Stone Cold did it better, but I see where you're going.
yeah, but even so, if that's the case, I'm not feeling the family vibes here. I mean, I never got invited to a reunion or a funeral or any of that stuff. What kind of family are you guys?
You had to buy a ticket, sir.
Yeah, exactly. It's not cool. So then you had
fucking
go ahead.
bullshit. Yeah, no, just kidding.
So we had the Usos.
It was.
Oh, go ahead.
Never mind. You're going there.
We had we had the Usos come out and, you know, basically say they wanted to see the doctor of thugonomics and trying to get him to drop some rhymes, and he did.
How cringy was that, though? That whole segment was cringy as fuck.
It's pretty cringy.
I mean, they could have came up with some better lines for the back and forth, but it was still pretty neat to see the Usos and John Cena have a little standoff. It could have definitely been better, but
Cobb could have been better.
yeah, it was an official Cobb rating on this segment. But
Yeah.
Bro.
Bruh.
John Cena definitely got him though.
Of course, he's fucking John Cena.
And then ironically, Jimmy Uso gets arrested the next day.
Yeah.
On a
So that
DUI.
means John Cena
That's
actually
hilarious.
well predicted
I
the
bet
future.
John Cena was just dead laughing
Yeah.
when he seen that.
Yeah, John Cena.
I bet
actually
John
just,
Cena
like, predicted
probably
the
felt
future
like
of
shit.
Cena.
What if he was like, man, what if I drove him to start drinking again? Like, I brought it up and he's like, man, and I made him fall off the wagon. It's all John Cena's fault. He jinxed him.
I feel like maybe it was like a a bad situation for the Usos to be. I mean, you seen how like hyped up and like I don't want to sound like a dad, like being too strict about it, but they were like ignorant about it almost, like celebrating and shaking each other's hand and being all hype about the fact that they got arrested. Like, he shouted out like the police department or something where they got arrested. Like, they're being like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're being like ignorant about it. Like, it's cool to get arrested. Like, they gave off that vibe, like that douchebaggy vibe. And that kind of threw me off. I was like,
I feel you. So that ended up leading to a match between the Usos and the Revival. Obviously, the Usos winning. What'd you guys think about that? And keep talking for a second because I got to go let my dog in.
I'm completely over watching the Usos and Revival wrestle. We get this so often, and the Usos win like every single time that the titles aren't on the line, and then the Revival win every time the titles are on the line. It's like so repetitive, and there's so many like other tag teams that could be thrown into this mix. I don't know why they keep dwelling on the same match over and over again.
I agree with Soul. They really need to do something because we don't want to see the same shit. But then
I hate the way
it's a tag team division, so
it's like killing the Revival's title run. Like, how are you proving like that you're a good tag team champions if you just repeatedly lose to the Usos every time the titles aren't on the line? Like, it's just silly to me.
True. Also, by the way, why was Devon Dudley actually also out there, by the way? What was Devon out there?
I don't know. That's one of the negative legend spots, I think, from the show. I mean, so far where we're at, the John Cena Usos thing was cool. I wouldn't really classify John Cena as a legend just
maybe
yet,
because
he's still somewhat active, but like with
maybe
Devon,
because the Dudley Boys was one of the top tag team out there back in the day.
I think what happened
unfortunately
is
Bubba couldn't be there because of his little
because of
thing he has.
scandal.
Yeah, I think because of Bubba not showing up, they kind of had to like come up with something for Devon, and maybe it's supposed to be a sign of like pushing the Revival to have one of the most iconic tag team members of all time be on their side and be rooting for them. Yeah, maybe it was like just to make the Revival look a little good. To have Devon
just a little
have their back.
Yep, totally, definitely, gotcha. Big stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I totally agree with everything you said.
Oh yeah, what did we say?
Oh, you heard it. I don't want to repeat it. That would be cool.
Yeah, the whole like Devon Dudley just appearing for the Revival stuff. Oh my god, what was like the point of that whole situation?
Shut up, Ben.
Sorry,
Just stop.
well, it's.
So the next big thing, you had the very first of the segments with the 24/7 title, where the very first thing was Drake Maverick getting the title back from R-Truth, and then we'll just cover the whole little thing here. You had Drake Maverick won to beat Truth, and then the Boogeyman scared Drake Maverick, and Pat Patterson pinned him. And then it cut to Gerald Briscoe just kind of laying on the floor. And Pat Patterson pinned him with just his foot. And then Kelly. And then Candice Michelle. Then Alundra Blaze. And then Alundra Blaze did a really, really cringy thing about throwing the title away. And then
she's always been terrible. So
yeah.
Natalia for a time.
And then Ted DiBiase bought the championship from Alundra, and then Drake Maverick won the title from DiBiase, and then R-Truth got it back at the end of the day.
Can I ask you a question before we go any further about this?
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about the whole story right now with R-Truth and Drake Maverick and the title? Are you guys getting bored of it?
It's stupid and it's cringy. Not really. I mean, as long as they keep doing different things, and not just, I
mean, I feel myself starting to feel that way, but
yeah.
I think it has a little bit more shelf life left. Like Sheep said, if they keep doing different things with it. But, I mean, eventually it's going to get completely played out, and they're going to have to... But I think this is just a way to keep R-Truth in the loop in the meantime. Yeah. And Drake Maverick is like a perfect, goofy person for him to keep getting the best of. So I mean, I understand it. It's fine, but I think eventually it's coming to a near end. I think because there's only so much more they can do with it.
I think hopefully when it plays out, they'll find something better to do with it. Like give it, another angle or something like that. Take out Drake Maverick or take out Truth or something like that. I would rather they take out Drake Maverick, obviously, but I think Truth can carry that title forever as long as they just don't keep putting him against the same person forever.
Yeah.
So,
I think the best thing about the whole 24/7 title segments on the reunion was Briscoe and Patterson, because that was like a genuine throwback, like, to those two actually winning the hardcore title back in the day when it was 24/7. So that was a good piece of nostalgia, and I wasn't expecting that to happen. So that was probably one of like the best moments on the whole show for me, honestly. Like, I thought it was pretty neat that they got them guys involved.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel you. So after that, we had not really a match, more of a Drew McIntyre beating up Drew McIntyre beating up Cedric Alexander. I mean, I guess it's better than, the standard 50-50 booking that WWE always does. Nobody ever wins like 2 matches in a row against the same person until recently. So, I mean, at least that's a positive aspect. But other than that, I'm not so... I don't really care about Cedric Alexander and Drew McIntyre, in the ring together. Unless this was just what it was, it's just saying that Drew McIntyre is just that much better than Cedric, and Cedric, just takes the loss as a jobber. Which, that's fine. But if they try to bring Cedric back to win after a third match, I'm kind of played out on Drew McIntyre and Cedric Alexander already.
Definitely.
I'm going to go ahead and skip the Viking Raiders and Kurt Hawkins Zack Ryder match.
Oh, please do, skip that match.
That's what I just did. We will cover...
It was just like a quick burial, by the way.
At least, let's just say, at least it wasn't another random team they faced. At least it was an actual match. That's
True.
I just... it's not really about this match, but in general about Kurt and Zach. I just want to say I'm highly disappointed in their title run. It should have been so much better. They cut it too short, just like I think that they ruined, not ruined, but cut short the B Team's run. When the B Team was doing those promos and like dressing up as their opponents and making fun of them and stuff, like, that was golden. And I think that Zach and Kurt had a lot more potential. They barely showed up. They barely defended the titles, and it's silly to me. They could have been treated way better. They could have done a lot more. Those guys have a lot of chemistry together, like in real life. Like, they're actually good friends, and they're both, well, at least Zack Ryder is an incredible wrestler. He could be a star in any other company, any other promotion, any day. And I just felt like they could have done a lot more with that. It's unfortunate now they're just jobbing to the War Viking experience for no reason. But whatever.
Yeah. What's gonna happen with the War Viking experience fucking Raiders guys anyways? I don't think they're gonna get any title anytime soon, honestly, but I don't know.
I mean, I'll be okay with all this if the War Raiders get their title shot finally at SummerSlam against the Revival, I'll be satisfied. But if we're gonna get the fucking Usos and Revival at SummerSlam again, and they're gonna keep having squash matches,
do it every single pay-per-view. Let's get it at every
single. Either that, or this leads to AOP coming back and challenging the War Raiders.
Yeah, whatever happened to AOP too?
That would be great. An NXT Classic on Raw or at a pay-per-view. That could be good too. So I don't know.
But I think.
Hey, but can you complain that the Usos are actually active? They've been missing for a while before all this.
Hang on.
But they're now active again because of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sheep.
What?
Anyways,
So yeah, we had
Seaborn, no
Samoa
part
Joe.
of us talking about this.
Yeah, we had Samoa Joe basically talking a bunch of stuff about the Raw reunion as just being for nostalgia and just to please a bunch of, you know, super fans and stuff like that.
which is basically what it is.
Well,
Duh.
obviously that's what made it a good promo. And
Well,
then
I mean,
he,
if it wasn't obvious enough, did he have to really make it more obvious?
he did.
Why? I mean, everybody already knew that.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't know.
I don't know what to say then.
But and then he talked some shit about Rikishi and the Usos, and Roman
Shit.
Reigns came out. Here's my only problem with this. He talked shit about Rikishi and the Usos. Why didn't any of them just come out and stand up for themselves? Why do they need Roman Reigns to fight their battles for them? And I get that it was just to set up a segment, you know, and all that, but I was a little like, well, you know.
Because they were like, oh, we already had the Usos fight, so let's bring out Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I get it. It just seemed like a really long way around to set up a match between Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. Well, whatever. I'm cool.
Okay.
It wasn't bad, but I would have rather had Samoa Joe win, because even if Roman Reigns lost, he's not going to lose much. But by Samoa Joe losing, he loses a lot.
You're right.
So that's my thoughts on that one. And
okay.
Yep. Them dogs. I'm not really. Well, we'll cover it just because I know we'll get a rise out of Ben. So Seth Rollins was on Miz TV talking about Brock Lesnar, and that was pretty much it. It was kind of stupid, and I'll be honest, Seth Rollins is starting to fall flat again.
I literally just turned it off and stopped watching. I just finished it like 2 days later.
Yeah, Seth's starting to fall off again.
As soon as he got out of his chair, I was done.
It had started getting more exciting with Seth Rollins. Like, stuff was starting to pick up at the pace a little bit and getting a little bit interesting, and then, nah, let's just keep doing what we were doing that wasn't working.
Oh, cool.
So I'm not really happy with Seth Rollins' run right now.
Now, after the fact, I gotta say, like, looking back, if you're someone, I think this was more, could be more directed towards, like, younger kids who really like Seth but don't like Brock Lesnar. This is more like I guess like a childish kayfabe thing. Like, yeah. I could get it. Like, if you really think Brock Lesnar is like this terrible person and you love Seth Rollins, and you would have been cracking up at that, you know, giggling, like, you know, it's funny, corny little jokes about Brock. You know what I mean? Like, there's a target audience for that.
Well, let's see.
Promo.
Let's find out. But, Ben, what did you think about this promo?
Sorry. Okay, this promo, by the way, it was interesting. The one negative thing,
just one,
that I always keep saying every single fucking week, as soon as someone actually, of course, won the Universal title, he should, like, you know, well, like, just start showing up more. Where the fuck was Brock Lesnar? I'm sorry. Where was Lesnar?
What does that have to do with Seth Rollins' promo? I asked you what you thought of his promo, not what you think about Brock Lesnar. What did you think?
It was interesting, but
why did you put a roll on it like you're Hispanic or something?
What was that?
Why did you roll? Interesting. What in the world?
I was waiting for someone to call that out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So since we can't get a straight answer from Ben, we can just assume that he loved it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
loved
he
it.
loved it.
But
He was all in.
loved it.
yeah, but like, oh, I'm
He's
sorry.
all in with Seth Rollins.
Brock. Okay.
Are you a chicken?
Where is fucking Lesnar? No. No, I am so sorry about this. Like, well, Soulamazin. Sorry about this. But this is the reason why I always keep saying Lesnar is just a bad champion. He never freaking shows up.
Alright, let's move on. Not gonna cover Sami Zayn versus Rey Mysterio because blah. And Sami Zayn should have won.
What? Oh, no. Hang on. Why are you not going to cover this match?
Because Sami
Why are
Zayn
you not
should have
gonna cover
won.
this match?
And Sami Zayn always loses. And that's like, I think that is his job.
I agree with that. I'm the biggest Sami Zayn fan. Okay, but
I like Sami Zayn.
I actually have to disagree for this particular situation. I think Rey Mysterio needed to win because it was it may not be for a reason that I agree with, but for kayfabe, this was like Rey Mysterio picking up the victory in honor of the legends. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Sami Zayn's the guy that disses the legends and makes fun of them, and Rey did it in support of the legends. I mean, it makes sense, but with that being said, I still agree. Sami Zayn needs to stop being a jobber. He's one of the best people they have on the mic. He's great in the ring. And for that reason, I disagree with it. But in kayfabe terms, it made sense.
I agree with Soul on this one.
Same. I'm just trying to remember. Actually, no, I don't know about that.
Sami Zayn needs to at least get put into the Intercontinental title picture, or the United States title picture. I mean, at least.
I don't think it will happen.
Well, I think. Wait,
there's no reason.
Well, I know Sami Zayn. I think he actually had like a match for the US title. Yeah, but and that was like when John Cena was Universal. United States champion. I now just mentioned the Universal title now. God damn it.
What's on your mind, Ben? What's on your mind? Speak your mind.
I have no idea. It's just that the United States Championship and the Universal Championship, it kind of like just like it sounds the same,
anyways,
but like it's just different.
While we're on this
is.
segment, what did you guys think about RVD showing up?
Cool, I guess.
What I liked better about RVD showing up was the Street Profits talking about getting high with RVD in the bathroom.
Yeah, that was dope.
That was awesome. The Godfather thing, it was kind of eye-rolly, cringy, but when they just kind of hinted at, because we all know RVD loves to blaze up. And,
oh, yeah.
I think that was one of the reasons he left WWE.
Oh, yeah, he's a blazer.
Oh, yeah. So,
He
we had that.
420 that shit.
And, supposedly the officials over at Impact Wrestling stated that they were approached about it and they were okay with RVD having a one-time appearance for the reunion. So it's not actually back in WWE. It was an agreement between both companies for a one-time appearance.
Yeah, all you marks, calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Street. I actually just heard what you actually just said. I'm like,
Ben's a mark. By the way.
So after that, and I'm only covering this because of everything that happened. It was kind of stupid at the same time.
Hold on,
go ahead.
Let me add one more thing to that. About the RVD thing. I mean, honestly, it's just that Impact they're not really in a financial place to say no. I mean, theoretically, if they would have said no, then Vince McMahon could have just bought out his entire contract just to have him show up one time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
apparently Impact wrestlers are not getting paid very much at all. They're not getting paid very good at all. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're not. They ain't getting paid jack shit.
So
That's why we're waiting for AEW to just buy them out.
I'm sorry.
What if AEW pulls a WWE and just buys out all indie wrestling promotions, like Ring of Honor, TNA?
They basically are, bro. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, they're just not. They're picking the ones that they want and not just buying everybody.
And waiting it for the fall and crash of it.
But when you pick the ones that you want, you're picking the top talent, which is still inevitably destroying the whole company. But yeah.
That's true.
Let's just move on.
WWE actually do that to like the WCW and also ECW?
Yeah, Ben, okay.
Yeah,
we kind of just brought this
they
up.
actually
This
did
is
that
what
to
I
WWE.
just
That's
said
why I
earlier.
said move on. We're not gonna rant.
Told you.
No.
No.
We're not gonna argue
Go
on this.
on, move on.
I know
Because
totally
Ben's
different.
brain
Let's
is
go.
somewhere else. Ben doesn't listen.
So the rebranded club
Didn't listen to
debuted
it.
as the
whole
OC.
rebrand. The whole
Oh.
C meets the OG.
And they had, a whole bunch of interference going on, and DX came out. First, it was Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and then everybody else except for Billy Gunn, obviously. And it just got a little bit too, like...
This was stupid because they should have been on the OC's side, if anything.
That's true, because what
Like-
happened to Raw 25? What happened to that?
Yeah, and not only because of that, but the club is basically D-Generation X. They're outlaws. Like, you know what I mean? They're bad boys. Like, that's what DX was. So how are you gonna be opposed to them now all of a sudden when on the next reset on the 25 you were like trying to show them love and support, like, and then now you're standing against them for Seth Rollins? Like, what? It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
I think they were just trying to get Seth
They're trying
Rollins
to push
over.
Seth.
Yeah.
I hate when they do stuff that counteract something that they did before for no reason, just to try to push
they
somebody.
give a shit,
Like,
though?
it just doesn't make sense.
You gotta
like-
realize, they don't give two shits, okay?
but they need to give two shits because that's what makes watching wrestling entertaining.
Tell me when has WWE given a shit?
Yeah.
Tell me. Tell me when. Tell me when.
I swear,
Exactly.
if I ever had to
Let me
hear Seth
see.
Rollins
Yeah, let
say,
me
"I
just
got
to see
two
that
words
box.
for you ever again in my life."
Oh, the
I
way
would
he
be-
said he sounded like a fucking redneck. I got 2 words for you.
I
I'm like,
know,
what
right?
the fuck?
Like
This boy
got
just popped out the
hillbilly.
redneck.
I got 2 words for you.
This boy just popped out the
what?
redneck in him.
So,
We know where he first landed when he came into the United States.
the next thing that,
Oh, moving on.
the next thing of note, you had Mick Foley come out, and then all the 24/7 people chasing, I think it was Drake Maverick at the time. No? Who were they chasing?
I think it was.
Was it Drake Maverick? Yeah, it was Drake Maverick, because at this point, most of the other stuff had happened. So, what did Mick Foley say? Come to Papa? And he barely even tries to get him. And he's like, oh well. And then the lights, or he goes to show the clip, and the clip like burns out, kind of thing. As soon as it started doing that, I knew what was going to happen. But, well, kinda, I knew it was going to be the Fiend. But then the Fiend came out and hit him with his own move, the Mandible Claw. And I'm pretty sure that's because it might fuck something up if you tried to hit Mick Foley with Sister Abigail at, not necessarily his age, but his shape, what his body's been through. Might have done some permanent damage, so they just opted to do the Mandible Claw. And that was cool. And it would also be kind of cool if this led to the Fiend using the Mandible Claw as one of his signature moves.
Maybe it was like a hand-me-down
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
That could be
Well,
interesting.
they've been doing a lot of that, so...
But it was less of a hand-me-down and more of like, I'm taking this.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Good
that.
point,
I
Sheep.
didn't even look at it that way. Ooh, sheep, but okay. Okay.
That's right. We go deep here on
Well,
that
we've
wrestling podcast.
We've seen recently Ricochet take over the Codebreaker with the permission of Jericho. Obviously, Kevin Owens using the Stunner.
Stone Cold
This could be
Steve
the next.
Austin.
This could be the next thing. And these guys are finally getting too old to actually perform, so right here, just use my move.
Yep.
Yeah, and that includes Chris Jericho for
Oh
our
yeah,
AEW marks.
and Hulk Hogan passed the leg drop on to Nia Jax.
Wow, so
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think
And
that's
let's
true.
not
Hulk
and
Hogan
let's
gave
not
the leg
forget
drop to
about-
Nia Jax.
Nia
Let's not
Jax's
forget
leg
about
drop is so
Otis.
bad.
Let's not forget
She
about
looks
Otis.
like she hurts herself and then she has trouble getting back up. She
Let's
should
not
never
forget about
do a
Otis
leg drop.
using the worm.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys know
That's
that
what he does.
because of doing the leg drop so much, it actually compacted Hulk Hogan's spine and made him shorter?
Really?
Is
Yeah,
that
he's
even
like
true?
yes, when he debuted, he was like 6'5", 6'6", and now he's listed as like
How does it
6'1".
compact your spine?
Spinal
I actually
compression,
believe
it's a
that.
thing.
I don't know if you're trolling or not. But
I'm not. I am 100% not
But you're
trolling.
landing on your ass.
And
I
you're
actually believe you.
and that yes,
But your
that
spinal, the end of your spine ends at your tailbone. Like,
Yeah.
Right above your ass.
it's spinal compression. It's an
Yeah,
actual
but-
thing.
You're
I
putting
guess.
pressure on it every time you land.
Well, I mean, you're sitting on your ass every time you fucking.
But you're
putting
not
pressure
hitting
on
the
it.
ground hard on your ass constantly.
Yeah.
Consistently, I mean, I should say.
Yeah, I'm not trolling.
I
That's
don't know how
a
hard you sit down in your chair, but I mean, take it easy.
you know, slow down. You're gonna get shorter.
This guy just like slams, like just runs and jumps into his chair every time he sits down.
You're gonna get shorter, bro.
Getting
You
shorter.
better stop sitting so
Yeah.
hard. So after that, we had a fight between Natalya and Becky Lynch.
So you just say that like every like 5 minutes.
Anyway, we had a fight between Natalya and Becky Lynch on a Moment of Bliss, and this was kind of dumb.
Wait, maybe you know what? Gosh, dang it! I hate Vince McMahon so much. He's so freaking good. He's so
Oh, do
smart.
you?
it
Well, I got
works.
2 words for you.
It works. I like Seth Rollins a lot more now than I did before. This happened.
Damn, that's all it took.
Damn,
that's
he
all
did
it took,
boys.
huh? That's all it
What
took
a-
is just to
what
say
a
that
genius.
lie.
Well,
They really put him over this time.
here's the true mark of whether or not that worked. Ben, did you like Seth Rollins and DX?
Yes. All right.
There you go. It worked.
Alright, it works. There you go.
Oh, that actually it's not what I forgot now.
So yeah, Natty, Becky fought, had a little cat fight out there. This was fine for what it was, but you know, it wasn't all that great either.
Was it a cob?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think it was about as good as it could have been involving Natty. So I'm not sure it could have been better, because you know Natty was involved, and yeah.
It wasn't
Maybe
as
you're
bad
right.
as I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But that's saying, you know, my expectations were as low as they possibly could get. So it was a little bit better than that. I've said how I feel about Natalya way too many times. I'm just gonna let you guys go ahead. So, keep it to myself.
Oh, you're gonna pass us the mic?
I'll pass the mic.
Yelling at the mic.
Yelling at
Yelling at the
the
mic.
for you. They're like, hey, Seth, we're gonna pass the mic and he's gonna yell at the mic and say.
So speaking of yelling at the mic, did anybody get the impression that Stone Cold might have been a little bit lit?
I think he was drunk.
I think he was
Yeah,
fucking.
I think they're like, yo, we need
drinking
this
before
shit. You're coming back, we're giving you the mic, we're retarded and didn't give you the mic at the 25 show. We need you to be pretty hammered for this, cause
You think they told him to do it?
I don't
that
even
could-
give
that-
a shit if either way. It's Stone Cold, bro.
I think he was back there, you know, he's got his own beer and stuff, and he was like
Yeah.
showing off his
It's
beer
like,
to everybody
hey,
and
try
drinking
my
them.
beer.
I try my beer, I'll drink it with you. Okay, let's drink beers.
Dude,
And
they
he
were
just
probably all, dude. You gotta think these guys were on the road together. These
How
guys.
do you buy Stone Cold's beer, by the way?
I don't know. But like these guys
Probably
got
only in
together
Texas.
the back end, and they were drinking and eating some good food, and they were partying all day.
that's what I
He
think.
had a
was
burger. What?
But
Hot
I-
dog.
I really did
And he got
enjoy.
2 words for you.
God damn it.
I really did enjoy the speech from Stone Cold there. But why did they let Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold talk, but not Ric Flair?
Oh, we probably can't.
Yeah, I really thought that Stone Cold gave a really
Okay,
good speech.
Paul.
It almost had me kind of tearing up a little bit. I felt a little mist in the corner of my eye. I was like, oh, look at Stone Cold getting all sentimental. I think he started crying there at the end, at the very, very end.
Yeah,
I think
I think he was drinking.
I think he was like to that point where he's like, I love you, man. I love you, bro. Fucking love you, dude.
You know, the most disappointing part of that segment was the ending when he goes, how much time we have left? A minute? I thought he was about to drop some fire, but then he just fucking brings up an inside story between him and some boy, and he's just, oh, okay. You're not gonna drop any fire?
What
Talk
story?
about an inside story?
The story with Farouk?
No, the other guy.
Wasn't it Jerry Briscoe?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And you said
He's
some
like,
boy.
How much time we got left?
That's not a boy. That's like an old ass man. That's definitely not a boy.
Oh.
Wow,
I meant to say
disrespectful of you.
with his boy. Okay.
Listen, anything Stone Cold says is legit, alright? It doesn't matter.
I wanted to
Do what
hear
he
some
wants.
hot fire come out. Okay. He's Stone
I'm trying to
Cold.
sit
He
there
should have
and,
said
like,
something.
Diss somebody, like...
No, but I wanted to hear some hot fire, right? Calm down. Cause you want to know why? I got 2 words. Ah, fuck! I fucked it out because I was supposed to do the voice, so I didn't realize.
Easy.
I got 2 words for you.
There you go.
That
So-
was a sheep. It is... Sheep
Normal
actually
voice.
just has his voice during the podcast.
Yeah, I have
Listen
to,
something normal.
I have to put on a non-regional diction in order to do the podcast. You know, I do it like a newscaster.
I want some Broken Skull IPA, whatever.
APA, bro. He should have named it Broken Skull APA.
Where's APA at?
They were there. I didn't see
I know they
Bradshaw.
were.
Well, I saw Farouk.
For real.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't think Bradshaw was there.
Bradshaw doing some shit. I don't know.
Go to AEW. Confirmed.
Ooh.
That's what
He's
happened.
gonna be on the announce team with JR.
Oh God, no! I hated him the most. I hated him. No, it's either him or the one we got in AEW right now. I forgot what's his name.
The Excalibur dude or whatever.
All of them.
No,
The
other
guy
one
in the
is from
mask.
WWE.
Oh,
I'm talking
The
about
other guy's even
WWE.
worse.
you're talking about Ross? Jim Ross?
Yeah, I
No.
hate him and
JR.
I hate Jerry the
No.
Clean Lawler. Not Jerry the Clean Lawler. The one
You
we were
hate
just
Jim
talking
Ross?
about. Yeah, I hate
Oh,
him.
please tell me.
Can't stand him.
Even during the Attitude Era?
Yep, I hate him.
Well,
Jim
I think
Ross.
he's terrible in
I
AEW,
always-
but back then
I
he
always
was
hated
goated.
Jim Ross's commentary. I can't stand his fucking mumbling accent.
It was good for
Or
a
whatever.
time in time and era. It's
It
bad
looks like
now.
he
It's
doesn't
terrible
even
now.
fucking use his mouth. Like he has a hard time like
Alright,
Just-
alright.
You know that
Opening
could
his
possibly
jaw.
be from like the 3 strokes he's had.
Probably.
Dickhead.
probably. But still, it was still like that back then too.
Not as bad.
Wait, what?
It was noticeably better back then. Let's jump on into SmackDown though. So
The
we had
best
Smack.
commentator though was Mr. McMahon
Definitely true.
back then.
GG.
Mr.
He
McMahon was
was
the best
good.
commentator back then. But yeah, move on.
We had SmackDown, and
Yeah.
Kevin Owens kicked things off. Not a bad
did
way
he?
to kick off SmackDown.
Did he?
Uh,
Or was it Shane McMahon?
Yeah, he.
well, a segment with him, whatever.
Get your facts straight.
Yeah,
Facts straight.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Shane McMahon came out and basically accused Owens of hiding behind Twitter and all that shit. And then he took the match with Kevin Owens at SummerSlam. Yay, I'm so excited for that. But
Are you really?
yeah, obviously, aren't you?
Yeah, you know.
I'm kidding. And yes, also we had the New Day on commentary, so I do like the New Day on commentary. They add a little bit of fun and comedy to things.
I did too. They're usually better than they were.
Yeah, they weren't that great this time.
They weren't saying much, and when they did, it was like quiet and like hesitant.
So this all basically led to Shane McMahon saying that Kevin Owens was going to face Roman Reigns in the main event. And then we had Shinsuke beating Apollo Crews, like, duh. And then he beat down Apollo Crews at the end. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, whatever. Then we had Shawn Michaels on Miz TV. That was kind of interesting. Not used to seeing Shawn Michaels come out in that perspective, but was Shawn Michaels looking at the Miz or the Titantron? I couldn't tell.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you. That's kind of weird.
Wow.
Like, what is this boy looking at?
Come on.
God, I just had to trying to draw a little heat here, drawing some heat. This wasn't bad.
Guys.
And then Dolph Ziggler came out, and this should have made you really happy, Saul. You know, Dolph Ziggler, HBK, kind of one and the same almost. You know, Dolph Ziggler should be considered
No, because you heard what I had to say last week on the podcast. Just like I've said many times, and then they're gonna have the audacity to throw it in my face on live television. My whole
So
spiel about
you're mad because they gave you what you wanted?
Yeah.
Tell me what you want. What you
How'd
really,
they give
really
me what
want.
I wanted?
He super kicked Shawn Michaels.
Well, yeah, that was good, but like it needs to like I don't know. It doesn't like give Ziggler like a impressive career, like, you know, like it was. I don't know, man. Like, it's not enough. Why not? SummerSlam already sucks. SummerSlam sucks since the day they announced it was happening. Then why not just go ahead and give us Dolph versus HBK at SummerSlam and let Dolph win? And let Shawn, you know, give him that. Like, pass the torch.
What makes you think that's not going to
That would
happen?
make me happy.
What makes you think it's not going to happen?
It might still happen. I'm not saying it's
I think that was an obvious setup for something like
great.
that.
Because just knowing WWE, they're gonna do it and give Shawn Michaels the win for no freaking reason. Like,
Yeah, that would suck.
just like the pointless Smackville. Just like pointless Smackville. They're gonna do just like they did on Smackville. If we get Dolph versus HBK, and HBK is in agreement to pass the torch and give Dolph the win, then I'll be satisfied. That's all I need from SummerSlam in general, and I'll be happy. The rest of the card is.
If you wanna be my lover,
Gotta get with my band. So.
nothing's forever. Yeah.
So,
That's right.
yeah, skip with that Ember Moon match. Oh, you had something else? What else? What else you got?
No, I'm saying, like, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I'll stop ranting about Dolph Ziggler for now.
See, Ben,
I mean,
that's
like,
what you're supposed to do, Ben.
He's like, he's the only person who is second to Brock Lesnar in a good way. You know, like Brock Lesnar's #1, and then you got Dolph Ziggler. Okay.
I got.
Feel me, like.
Yo, you actually should well.
No, listen,
hang on a
like
second.
Brock Lesnar,
Wait,
Brock Lesnar,
did you
Dolph
just say
Ziggler.
Brock Lesnar is #1, Dolph Ziggler is #2? No,
Yes,
no.
listen,
No,
hear me out. I'm gonna explain
That
it.
is the
Dolph
wrong
Ziggler.
way. Seth Rollins #1, Dolph Ziggler #2. There you go.
No.
There.
Listen, Brock.
You don't get to
Lesnar-
pick Soul's opinion, Ben.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It's
I'm
his
sorry, but
opinion.
Brock
It's
Lesnar
not.
just needs to just show up every single week, and then that of course would now make the
Listen,
Universal title much more
this
better.
is how it goes.
Yeah,
He should
fine.
show up every week
Yeah,
so we can hear you talk
fine.
about him even more every week. No, I'm good with him staying out the way he is. We'd hear about it even less from you.
Well, that actually just makes him a bad champion again, and yeah, and of course, and still the same thing again, just like last year. Still, that title is going to be like more irrelevant, and I always keep using that one word, irrelevant, because that's
if you let me talk, I have the best.
Because of
I have the best storyline WWE could
Let him
possibly go forward with on this point.
Seth Rollins
Okay?
beat Brock
Listen.
Lesnar at SummerSlam.
No.
Yes. There you go. Yeah.
After Brock Lesnar,
Yeah,
listen,
we'll be happy.
immediately after Brock, this is what will make SummerSlam great. After Brock Lesnar defeats Seth Rollins at SummerSlam,
Oh, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
Sable returns to announce that Dolph Ziggler and Charlotte Flair are actually the children of Brock Lesnar and Sable.
Oh, okay.
And
If
they
that
are
actually
one
happens,
big
then I will
Lesnar
watch-
family,
we'll actually
and
win WWE.
Shit.
they run the company. Charlotte gets the women's title, Dolph gets the SmackDown title, and Sable wins the Raw title. And they all have titles, and they run.
One thing I'm
They
about
run
to
the
actually
WWE.
just say straight to that, Soul, bullshit. That's not
Well,
gonna happen.
Bullshit makes
To
the
be
flowers
honest,
grow,
it's not
and
gonna
that's
damn
beautiful.
What?
Right.
Yeah.
So next up, we had Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston setting up for their match at SummerSlam, which is one of the only things I'm interested to watch, because you kind of don't really know, and there's a huge backstory between these two, and it's actually could lead to a lot of good things. Whoever wins, it could be good either way. I see nothing but good things coming from this match, unless it's a bad match, which is also possible, considering Randy Orton's had quite a few bad matches, and so has Kofi lately.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm excited for this, though.
This match better be good, or this show's gonna be really bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
True that.
this pay-per-view right now is like hanging on by a thread, thanks to this match. In my opinion, that's just my humble opinion.
Yep. Mhm.
I don't have a whole lot of hope for anything else on the card so far,
Same.
honestly.
Mhm.
So, yeah. I could be wrong, and a lot of things could go good, but that's just my current opinion.
Yeah, remember what was it? Not the last card, but the card before that or something. We thought was just gonna be it was the last card. We thought it was gonna be horrible,
Yeah.
Yep.
and it
I thought so as well.
stomping yards, and it turned out to be really good.
Rematch.
Stomp the yard.
Or rematch. Yeah, rematch grounds, I should say.
No, stomp the yard.
You don't get to name things, Ben. You're not good at it.
Hey,
Well, but that's exactly.
Ben just got put in his place.
Shows you.
Street. Okay. No one yeah. No one need just give us a good fucking alright.
So then there was a match, sort of, between Kofi and Samoa Joe, but Randy Orton came out and caused the no contest disqualification type deal. That was fine, but it almost makes me think that Samoa Joe is going to get himself involved in it somehow and turn it into a triple threat. And if they do that, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, because.
And moving on from that, we had Finn Balor doing a little talking, and he was trying to do some talking, but then Firefly Funhouse came on, and basically told everybody that he was accepting Finn Balor's challenge for a match at SummerSlam, which is kind of what we all didn't really want, right? Unless it's the Demon.
Well, I think it is gonna be like the Demon versus the Fiend. Yeah, well, the Demon versus the Fiend.
The Thing.
Yeah, the Fiend.
The Thing?
No,
The
the
Thing?
Fiend versus frickin' the Demon King, alright?
The Feed? The Feed versus the Demon King?
Ah.
I said the Fiend versus the Demon King. Yeah. I'm not gonna but repeat it again. I have already. No, it's not the fucking Fiend.
Huh.
Yeah, bitch. God!
The feed?
It's the Fiend! Alright?
Oh, the
Get it
feed.
right. You guys are. Oh no. This is exactly why I should cancel the podcast.
Oh, the freed.
You can't cancel the podcast.
I will.
You're not the majority shareholder here, sir.
Just get it right.
Ben
alright?
acts like he owns
Okay,
the podcast.
Sheep, Soul,
If
and Street.
if anybody owns the podcast, it's
You're not a
Sheep.
big man.
Right? Okay, no one.
If anybody that owns the
called the Fiend,
podcast
and
will be
yes,
Sheep. Okay, we get it. It's the freed. So what's up with the
Street,
freed?
Sheep's the only guy who's done a
Street, it's
podcast
not
by
called the
himself.
fucking
So he
Freed,
owns
it's called the
podcast.
Fiend. You son of a.
I don't
Get it
own
right.
it. I just
Get
have
it
the
right.
most shares.
Everyone who's free is gonna.
Oh, the Freed. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay,
The Freed.
okay,
Okay,
we
that
get
makes
the
more
win,
sense. Yeah.
alright? Soul, we get the joke. Sheep, we get the joke. Street, we get the joke. No one cares, just call him like, yeah, his
At
real
least
frickin'
3
name,
people
right?
care.
Good.
Yeah, at least
Sheep.
3 people.
Okay,
So
no,
moving on.
Okay.
Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. And Shane McMahon.
Maybe like a little.
And Elias. Yay. And Drew
So-
McIntyre.
So Drew
No one-
McIntyre, the referee in this match, Elias was, what was Elias? Elias was the timekeeper or some shit. And then Shane McMahon does special against
Yeah, sure.
announcer.
what
Fucking
happened.
hell. Shane McMahon, no, I am like now done with Shane McMahon. Fucking
How
hell.
are you?
Yeah,
Fucking
completely done.
hell.
Why?
Completely done.
Okay, so remember, the whole match between Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens' career is on the line, but what about Shane? Because Shane's kind of like
What about me?
Not putting anything on the line to be exact. So kind of like maybe I don't know. It should like kind of be like a potential I quit match. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm actually just saying.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, because if freaking Kevin Owens freaking loses at SummerSlam, then that's it, right? You know, well, right for Kevin Owens. Then, you know, well, because Kevin Owens actually did say, so if Kevin Owens actually, you know, okay, hang on. So if Kevin Owens loses against Shane McMahon, then Kevin Owens will quit the WWE. That's, of course, you know, well, what do you, because he actually said on Twitter. To be exact, so, yeah.
So
That doesn't mean
think
anything.
Do we think that this is what it's
No.
come to? Is Kevin Owens going to be the one to finally kill off the Shane McMahon bullshit, or is this another corny
Hopefully
way
so.
to give Kevin Owens time off, or repackage him, or yada yada? What do you guys think?
Repackage him?
I don't know.
I don't think he needs repackaged.
Wait, repackage Kevin Owens? Hell to the fucking no. No. Yo,
I'm not,
the only
I'm not
person
saying I think he needs to
actually,
be.
like,
That.
I'm
I
just
missed
saying
that
well,
that
who
would
actually,
be.
like, you know, actually needs, like, you know,
Those
well,
are some
be, like,
reasons why,
repackaged.
you know,
That's Shane
sometimes
McMahon.
people lose. Just like,
But not Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens, really? If Kevin Owens like freaking loses, then the WWE is just dead, completely now. I'm sorry, WWE, yo, they need to give Shane no, stuff like that.
but
So
it makes me
WWE
think, like,
actually,
I 100% believe that Kevin Owens is going to win. It makes the most sense to me for Kevin Owens to win. Obviously, he's getting really popular. People are loving the stunners and the popping up out of nowhere in the promos. Like, people are digging KO right now. He needs this win. It makes perfect sense, but it makes me think, like, all this time that we've been seeing Shane McMahon for 30 minutes a night, every night, on both Raw and SmackDown, and in pay-per-views, for so long, was it planned for it to be, for KO to get over on him? Is that the person they had in mind originally? Like, I just felt like from the beginning, like, the moment that Shane won that trophy, the best in the world tournament, I automatically assumed that they had some kind of huge thing in store for that to lead to, but it's been dragged out for so long. Was it planned originally for it to be KO?
I don't
Or did something else fall through and this is what they came up with to replace? Like, I just don't get it.
I don't know.
Maybe it was supposed to end with Roman and that didn't go over well, so they kept it going. I don't know.
It could be anything, my dude.
Sorry.
Possibilities. I have no idea.
But, like, do you want... It doesn't stick for me for it to be KO in some ways, because KO's not a guy that I feel like should be the one to beat the self-proclaimed best in the world. I guess maybe with the angle they're going with it, I guess it makes sense.
It's just
like,
a joke anyways. Like,
yeah,
it's
well, I
fucking...
know. Obviously, but I guess with the angle they're running, like, he's just trying to shut him the hell up, and that makes sense. But I was expecting it to be more like,
yeah, buddy.
more like a Seth Rollins type of in-ring performer, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's supposed to be
You know what I mean.
like a throwback to Stone Cold and Vince, you know, that same dynamic, you know.
Yeah.
So for that
And
reason,
KO is
I'm
a
cool
great
with
in-ring
it.
performer too. I'm not saying he isn't. He had a pretty clean senton.
So since we've only just now hit an hour, do you guys want to talk about Smackville? The whole three matches that were on it.
Like Smackville.
Yeah, I'll let Soul talk about Smackville.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it, so run us through it. So
the only
what?
person here that watched it.
Who watched it? Because I didn't.
I said I'm probably the only one here that watched it.
Well, run us through it. What happened?
Well, it opened up with Shinsuke. He was supposed to defend the title against Finn Balor. For whatever reason, Finn Balor wasn't there. So, the referee signaled for the bell, and the match was official, and he just started doing, like, a count to 10, and if he got to 10, then Shinsuke was just gonna win by default. And then, Ali's music hit, and Ali came out and challenged Shinsuke, so we got Shinsuke versus Ali, for the title, and, I mean, it was an alright match. Pretty average Shinsuke match, and Shinsuke won, of course. I don't know why. I haven't looked into why Finn Balor wasn't there. Honestly, going into this,
I think he was injured.
well, I don't know if that's true or not. Like, I haven't looked into it, but what I was expecting, like, going into this was I thought that Finn Balor was gonna win the title back from Shinsuke again, so that they could put it on the line at SummerSlam against Bray Wyatt. That's what I expected to happen. You know, that's a pretty cliche thing for WWE to do. But then Finn Balor didn't show up, so I don't know. And then there was also supposed to be a women's triple threat title match, Bayley versus Charlotte versus Alexa Bliss, and that was canceled. So none of them showed up on the show. And then it was dark match. Oh, Boss is saying the women's match was dark match.
Yeah, it was a dark
Bayley
match.
won.
That's racist.
Typical.
But then after Shinsuke and Ali, Elias did a musical performance where he actually performed a song. Obviously, it was like kayfabe song. He did a song about Shane McMahon. And well, he did a different one before that. I think he did like an actual song. I think. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I read that he went through like he was out there for like 10 minutes and like.
Yeah, he's out there for quite some time. Yeah.
So was it any good?
He said that the Elias part was good. It was knowing you, and you really like Elias. You would really enjoy the Elias part. He said that he had spoken to Johnny Cash back in the day, and he had said something like Johnny Cash told him that like he did some line like making fun of Tennessee, like that the Titans would never win a Super Bowl. Like he said that Johnny Cash had told him that, but then like Tom Phillips brought it to the attention later in the show that the Titans weren't formed as a team until like 3 years after Johnny Cash passed away. So it was like,
yeah, and also at the time that Johnny Cash passed away, Elias was only 16.
Wow.
So I highly doubt any of that, but it's just it's kayfabe.
He always talks about how he knows the celebrity from that place, but no, it was good. But then he did a song in tribute to Shane McMahon, and during that he dissed Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens showed up, like snuck up behind him, and the crowd started cheering. So like Elias started looking behind him, and they started going at it, and then they ended up having a official match, and that wasn't bad either. Kevin Owens hit a senton from the top rope on him. That was pretty legit. No, that was pretty good. And then the next thing was the triple threat match for Kofi's title. Kofi, Dolph Ziggler, and Samoa Joe. And it was actually a pretty good match. It was a lot of the back and forth pins and breaking up the pin right when you think like it kept you on like the edge of your seat type of thing. Like you think that it's over and they kick out the last second, like back and forth. It was pretty good. It was exciting. But my only thing was You know, Kofi ended up winning and defending his title. My thing about it was, like, I don't feel like it served any purpose to be broadcasted on the WWE Network. Like, I was 110% expecting Dolph Ziggler to win the world title. And, you know, in regards to the promo that happened on SmackDown Live, you know, he drew a lot of heat from HBK. And if you were gonna promote a match between them, and or even just to give Dolph a quick title win, just to prove, you know, I'm not a second rate. I can go out there and win titles. You know, I'm Dolph Ziggler. Like, even if you were gonna just take the title back away from him somehow and give it back to Kofi to keep the Kofi Randy Orton match, like, why not just give Dolph the title for, you know, a week or two, like, just to give him a little nod of respect. Like, that would have at least acknowledged why it was broadcast on the WWE Network. Because why does a live event need to be put on the network if nothing significant is gonna change? Like, no title changes, like no returns, no special, nothing. Like, none of these matches meant anything. So why was it on TV? Like, I just
I don't tell you.
And there actually was a I don't remember if AJ Styles lost or won the title, but that happened like last year at, I think, Madison Square Garden at a live event. There was a title change, and that was not even on the network or recorded or live or any of that.
Yeah, that was actually.
And a title changed, and then it changed back again.
The next day, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was the next day.
Yeah.
And I know AJ Styles involved in some way, but there's no reason why they couldn't have just thrown the title on Dolph, at least for a short while. I don't know. I don't get it. It's whatever, though. It's an hour show. The matches weren't bad, and Elias's performance was good. I mean, it wasn't. The show itself wasn't terrible. It just didn't really have any value going forward.
Surprising stuff.
Yeah, they could have thrown a 24/7 segment or something in there, you know. Something just to make it interesting.
Yeah, true.
But
was that in 2017?
Yeah, it was 2017. Well, not 2018. It was 2017.
Is anybody down riding around?
Yeah, where AJ defeated.
I feel like that just happened.
So we've covered some of the rumors already. We covered Uso getting his DUI. The only real thing I know about they're saying that Jerry the King Lawler will be hosting the King's Court on SmackDown next week with special guest Trish Stratus.
Cool.
I wonder what that's gonna.
She's facing Charlotte at SummerSlam.
You think so?
That's what I've been hearing.
Yep.
I mean, you heard the promo from Charlotte. She was hinting towards, you know, not being left off the card and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I think she took a shot at like Canada or something in it too. Like, I know there was something in there where she took a shot at that was subliminally aimed at Trish in some way.
So Finn Balor wasn't at Smackville because he's got some kind of illness, but they don't expect it'll keep him out for more than a couple of days. There's no injury. He's just a little sick. Probably got the clap. You know, had to go get his penicillin shot. Streetkilln, did you give Finn Balor the clap?
Yeah.
God damn it.
I had to do it to you,
I honestly wouldn't doubt if they're just lying about that because I bet they're like afraid for Finn to get hurt and not be able to wrestle the Demon versus the Fiend at SummerSlam. I bet they just decided it wasn't worth it. Like, why? But it makes sense. Like, why risk Finn getting injured and spoiling that just to wrestle Shinsuke again at a live event, like, I honestly wouldn't doubt that at all. That was just total bullshit. It's like their biggest draw for the pay-per-view.
You know, one of the rumors that's going around is that Daniel Bryan might possibly end up in 205.
Oh,
Daniel. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, did you say Daniel? Oh,
Yeah.
I doubt that.
Daniel Bryan going to 205 Live?
I mean, it will resurrect 205 Live for sure. But
I don't even think
I mean-
that's enough to resurrect 205 Live.
what do you mean? There's been so many stars that just was one person that kept 205 Live there. Shit. Enzo being one of them.
I don't
Austin
know.
Aries being another one. I mean, TJ Perkins at first, when it
I
first
don't
started.
know. I still didn't watch it or keep up with it, even with those guys there.
I heard they're
I
gonna
watched
add
it.
the Big Show to 205 Live.
Oh,
Oh no!
imagine.
He's lost a
that.
lot of weight, guys.
I could imagine that.
Can you imagine a 200-pound Big Show? That'd be very freaky looking. I don't even know if it's physically possible.
I got a little thing.
Well, I'm sorry. You should probably you shouldn't
No.
tell people that. We're sorry you got a little thing, but damn.
No. To bring back on. This is a little
we
late.
got,
But
it's okay, sir. We got big hearts. We'll go for it.
I just remembered what I remembered this, but to bring back from the whole thing we were talking about DX and the OC. I remember seeing something in an article about I think it was X-Pac and Scott Hall, I think, that like disapproved of like dissing AJ Styles.
Oh yeah, I read that too.
The
They didn't want to do that,
Yeah, they didn't want to do that.
and I agree with that. That was the whole reason I didn't care for that segment. And plus, every time we see it's like they do that. The reason why DX is exciting at this point would be because we don't see him that often, but it seems like we've seen him too much lately. To me.
God.
Who? Who would you say?
DX.
I think we've seen DX too much lately. You know, that's what would make it special. But
You
we've
think
seen
so?
him. We saw him at the Raw 25. We saw him at the Hall of Fame thing. We saw him at they did that Kane and Undertaker thing. I mean, we've seen them quite a lot in the past 2 years, comparatively speaking to previously. And I think it's just not as exciting. Like, if we hadn't seen them in 10 years and they came out and did that, it would probably be a lot different. It probably would have had a lot different feel to it. But the fact that they've overdone it,
I guess they overdone it. I mean,
I don't know. Those
I don't
appearances
know.
are still spaced out decently. I mean, it's not back to back.
Oh, I know that. But if you want to get a nostalgia pop, you can't just do it every year even. Every year we get a DX return.
We're kind of running out of time. I mean, we're kind of getting old.
Wait. I'm just like looking at something.
Ben doesn't even know what the fuck is going on. He's like, wait.
No, I actually just saw something about like, what's actually going to happen on Monday Night Raw.
Oh yeah, did you, Ben?
X-Pac and HBK are so cracked out. They might not have much longer to go here.
I know, right? They're fucking cracked out, alright.
Those guys are like hitting pipe. But anyways, I think we already talked about this. The fact that they wanted to get The Rock to appear for the debut of SmackDown Live on Fox. But he still has yet to agree to it.
Wait, you say that again? What are we talking about?
Fox wants
Rock.
The Rock to be on the SmackDown Live debut on Fox, their first show on Fox.
Oh yeah, is that what they
But
want?
The Rock is yet to.
You said Fox like 6 times in that one sentence. Fox wants The Rock to debut on the Fox show on Fox.
I didn't know how to word it. I'm getting tired, okay?
But yeah, I don't have anything else unless anybody's got anything interesting. I think it's probably a good place to call it a day. Sorry to all our Patreons, no Patreon after show tonight. Those are only
No?
yeah, those are very rare. You know, we do them every once in a while. You know, can't.
Rare.
We put that one out to the public. The other one, you know, goes to our Patreons. That was just to show people what you get when you sign up for the Patreon. You get extra bonus stuff.
I got a little information on AEW first show and like when they're gonna start, like on TV.
October 2nd. It's gonna be October.
So yeah, they're gonna start on October 2nd. It's gonna start at 8 p.m. Eastern time, ends at 10 p.m. Eastern time. The first episode is taking place in Washington D.C. Capital One Arena, and that's all I have.
You said 8 to 10 Eastern?
Yep,
Yeah.
10.
On what night?
On
Well, October 2nd. October 2nd.
that's when it starts, but I'm not
I mean,
sure
like, what
if
day of the
they-
week?
Well, hold on, I'll tell you. Let me see.
Friday?
When
October.
is October 2nd?
I'm
When is October?
checking.
Every
October
Wednesday
2nd
night.
is
Every
Wednesday.
Wednesday
Oh,
night.
yeah, that's right.
So
Every
during
Wednesday night.
during NXT.
That's
Yep.
why they're talking about. That's why they were talking about putting NXT on Fox Sports 1 to compete with them.
Yeah, they were saying they wanted, and WWE might, you know, push it to
Yeah.
compete with AEW.
I would much rather watch NXT than AEW. I'm sorry.
Me too. It's not even a question.
Well, that actually yeah, go on.
That's not
Well,
a smart
isn't
business
NXT
decision for
It is.
AEW, in my
Isn't
opinion.
Isn't NXT
We didn't talk
1
about
hour
NXT.
long?
Pete Dunne returned to NXT.
Isn't it 1
Don't give me
hour
any
gonna be
long?
spoilers.
involved in it.
Yeah, no spoilers. You can tell me who was there and all that. Just don't tell me who won.
Oh, you didn't see it?
Not yet. I had
What
He
time
didn't,
does
he
NXT
didn't
start?
have a match.
like every night this week. I didn't get off till after like 2 a.m. I got 6
What
hours of
time
overtime.
does NXT start? So
What
8?
time? I don't know. I never watch it live. I
Okay.
work till 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I rarely get to watch it live either. I'm at work when it comes on too. So I always have to watch
I
it
work
after.
until 11 p.m. I watch nothing live. I just watched NXT today.
I mean, it's better that they pick. I mean, I would
It was
say
good
they
cheap,
could
you're
have
gonna
just
like
they could have done Thursday if it was possible.
And if
I thought it
SmackDown
was
switching to
Friday. I
Friday,
think
they could have done
originally-
Tuesday.
I think originally AEW was talking about doing it on Thursday.
Yeah.
Then they switched
Unless
it to
something came
Wednesday. I wouldn't doubt it if I don't know. I'm not gonna go down that road.
They want to compete. You saying?
Yeah,
They want to
Yeah.
just bash in, like bash heads.
but I honestly, I just don't. I don't see them out. If NXT goes to Fox Sports 1, I don't see AEW winning a ratings war. I really don't.
And what's bad
Huh?
is that's a ratings war against, basically the minor leagues of WWE. If they can't even beat that, how do they think they're going to compete with the billion-dollar version of WWE, which is, to us,
That's what I'm saying.
noticeably worse.
It's too much of a risk because if you don't beat the ratings war against NXT, then you're basically just screwing yourself. So,
Agreed.
like, I wouldn't even chance it. Like, they should have picked a week where there's no other promotion live, and just went their own route, minded their own business, and been their own company.
They're just not making sound business decisions to me. It's like
They've been making terrible business decisions, in my opinion, since day
Who do you
one.
think is making the business decisions? You think it's Tony?
Probably
Tony
the
Khan.
guy whose
Con artist?
father
Tony Con
owns
artist?
God.
a soccer and a football team.
You think
But
it's
every
them that's
time
making decisions, or do you think it's one of the, wrestlers that's making those decisions?
He's probably heavily
Honestly-
influenced by them, because I don't think he probably really knows much of what he's doing, to be honest. But I mean, every time
no
I voice
doubt.
my opinion on this, I feel like everyone just like attacks me and is like, "You're a hater. You hate AEW." Like,
No,
I just
I
see
understand
things-
that,
I just see things
they
for
don't know
what
shit.
it is. This is a bunch of. It's a group. I won't even say a group. It's a couple of salty individuals
Oh, you're a hater. You hate AEW.
who got.
Wait, why are they salty though? That's the question.
Yeah.
Well,
Think of-
it's obviously their sodium intake.
Oh,
Just
I mean,
think about
they can't
it.
be that salty. They've been offered many times.
No, think about this. Cody Rhodes. Look at the way he was treated.
I
in WWE.
understand Cody Rhodes would be salty, but I don't think anybody else other than Cody and Chris Jericho, not even Chris
Well, that's
Jericho.
why I changed my
Chris
statement
Jericho-
from a group
They
to
should
a
be
couple.
thanking Chris Jericho, okay? WWE should be thanking Chris Jericho for everything. Not everything, but for like parts of that shit that went down. Money in the Bank would have never happened. Back then, he was like one of the highlighted wrestlers.
Well, of course,
But, like-
we're not arguing the.
The contributions that he gave to WWE.
Yeah, we're not. Even,
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with
That's what I'm
anything.
saying. Why would he be salty though? It's like,
He's
I'm
clearly
saying that.
salty. He even admitted it in interviews.
Yep.
Like my point is it's a couple salty individuals got together and met a billionaire, and just imagine, like, put yourself in those shoes. Someone that you worked for many years and gave your all to. You feel like they spit in your face, they disrespected you, they never thought you were good enough, right? Say it's you work at a convenience store. And you busted your ass. You thought you were gonna be the manager, maybe own the place one day, but they never treated you with any respect. And then all of a sudden you hit the lottery, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna open my own convenience store down the street, and I'm gonna put these fuckers out of business. They didn't want to make me the manager. They didn't take me seriously as the top guy. I'm gonna open my own business now that I got a little bit of money and shut these fuckers down. That's basically their attitude, and
See, this is
I think
why
that's gonna-
I don't believe the whole thing with CM Punk, to how it was just, he didn't get what he wanted or deserved or anything. Because if it really was that, he would have joined another promotion, or he could even join this promotion a while ago. And he's not. He's just done with wrestling.
I agree.
In general. People don't understand that though with CM Punk. I'm a big CM Punk fan, but I'm not gonna sit there and be like chanting CM Punk or like being, yeah, come on CM Punk join, or like, when is CM Punk gonna come back in wrestling? Like, everybody wants him to come back. If you're a true fan of CM Punk, you'll just let him do what he does. Like, if he's done with wrestling, he's done with wrestling. If he wants to do movies, he can do movies. Shit, let him do what he wants to do.
Just don't let him do MMA.
He wanted to explore MMA.
Oh, yeah.
Let him explore MMA. He did, and look
Yeah,
where
I
he is
agree.
at now. He wants to
definitely
do
agree.
different things. He wants to get out there. He wants to do different things. He wants to open, like, explore what could be his next big thing.
Who knows?
Obviously, it wasn't MMA. It could be commentary, since he's doing a whole lot of commentary lately, but I don't know.
I agree. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
He's not
But
out
I
here
just wish
fucking
that-
starting his own company and like, fuck you, Mr. McMahon. You know what? You didn't give me what I want.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just wish that people had the mentality to understand what I'm trying to say, and that I'm not trying to just hate on AEW. I've watched every minute of content.
No, I
they put
totally
out
understand
so
what
far.
you
Like,
mean. I totally understand what you mean by it.
I truly want them to succeed, and I think that's why I am so heated about what I've been given so far, because you promised me that you said you were going to change the world. You ain't done shit but copy off of the WWE. You haven't given us anything new so far. Like, you're just
Honestly,
a
though,
wannabe. Like,
what
I'm
can
sorry,
there be new
but that's...
though? What can there be new in wrestling though? Since it's wrestling's been around for a while.
It doesn't...
A lot of promotions been around for a while. What could they possibly
I agree, but I'm not the one saying this.
Yeah.
They're
They
doing
are.
the whole time
They have to
limit
prove
thing.
it, not me. Don't put me on the hot seat. I don't have to prove shit. They're the ones said they're going to change the world. They're going to give us something different. I didn't say
No, I
that.
totally understand that.
They
I
put
totally
this on
understand
themselves.
that.
They hyped it all
That's
up, and
true.
everyone was all for it, and then they didn't fall. What did we get that was different? Well, but some nostalgia blood and nostalgia hardcore ECW type match. That's all they've done. Other than that, it's just been generic
I'm really not gonna.
wrestling, and
I'm not gonna give it a true hard judgment until I see a couple of their own shows on TV.
I'm kind of in that boat too.
Me too. I agree with that. I'm just saying for what we've seen so
Right
far.
now, so far.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up a quote in an article Tony Khan said about the pay-per-views. They're saying the pay-per-views are going to be different than when the show comes up. They're saying that the pay-per-view is going to be more like how they are right now, where like that's how the pay-per-view is going to be. Now, if it's going to be more toned down on the show, or maybe the show is going to be like worked differently. Obviously, it's going to be worked more differently.
It's going to be a whole bunch of librarian and stupid garbage, goofy storyline shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, during the pay-per-views, we don't get much storyline. We just get a bunch of matches thrown in and a couple of words tossed around. Yeah, I get that. And if the stories are actually good, then I might be into it. I see the wrestling. I've seen the wrestling from the previous shows. I mean, it's not bad. It's there. I mean, it's wrestlers wrestling. There's not much to say about that. But if the story's better than what WWE comes up with, then maybe I'll keep tuning in. Maybe if it's like really interesting. Now, I'm not sure how the stories worked in New Japan Pro Wrestling because of the audience there doesn't understand. So I don't think they really have much mic skills, honestly, because they did spend most of their time in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And what kind of stories can you build in New Japan Pro Wrestling with an audience that don't even understand you? They went around in New Japan Pro Wrestling just throwing a bunch of F-bombs and swears around and kind of just being a heel, you know what I mean? They didn't really have stories to work off of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be an issue because at the end of the day, I mean, there's some obviously room for interesting storylines for AEW, but at the end of the day, they don't really have the value of characters to really do much with, and, like, for longevity. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I totally understand.
There's
quite a few people in there that's
so
that's
ridiculously overloaded with talent. They could fill up every night of the week with wrestling shows with how many superstars they have. 7 days a week. And give good storylines if they wanted to. It's absurd the amount of characters and it's just there's so much that they could do, but AEW is so limited. That's why I think we all agree that we need to wait and see how the weekly shows go, because those characters they need time to develop their people. Like, you know what I mean? They gotta start somewhere, and I don't think that they're off to a good start so far. That's my honest, humble opinion. I'm not. Like the hype inside of me is almost all gone. Like,
Here's the issue I have with the promos. There are a few people we know in that promotion right now that are really good at promos. One of them being Chris Jericho, obviously. He basically carrying right now, from what it seems, he's carrying in the promo department. And I mean, we haven't really heard much from Dean Ambrose on there, so can't really say nothing about that. Cody Rhodes, you know, he's Cody Rhodes. He's obviously he's alright at promos. I never really found him fantastic or anything, but he's alright. But everybody else, I mean, there's a few others there, you know, that are recognizable from like Ring of Honor and TNA that have cut a few promos and whatnot. And they're decent, but everybody else there, like, what they're gonna do, especially when they said that, you know, it's gonna be non-scripted and they're gonna be going out there and doing their thing. I think they need scripts though. That's the problem, because how are you gonna let them talk and be themselves when they don't really, you know, can't come up with anything? It's just like, all right, unless they really know how to just go out there and say something and make a story out of it, then I guess like improvise. But like, when have they ever done that?
I think
I
they're
mean,
just. I agree, and I feel like they're just selling a dream. At the end of the day, I mean, it sucks to say. Like, I really genuinely want AEW to be successful. I want it to be entertaining. I don't. There's no reason. In the same way that I feel like there's no reason for all these people, like, since AEW first got announced, there's absolutely no reason to be bandwagoning and rooting for them so ridiculously hard. There's also no reason to completely despise them and put them down. Like, give them a chance. Like, they don't even have a show yet. You can't just they have one event and you either say they're amazing, they're better than WWE, or you say fuck them, they suck. Like, give them time. Like, let them develop their superstars. Let them grow. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Why
right now,
feel one way or
during
the
all the
other?
pay-per-views, they're just basically showing off their superstars. That's all they're doing right now in the pay-per-views that they have, is just showing off their talent that they have. And then when the show comes on, maybe, you know, we'll get something better out of it after, like, what, 5 pay-per-views that we're getting. I mean, let's look at these pay-per-views as the pre-show of the show. You know what I mean?
But like I said, like, for me personally, I'm not that excited at the moment over AEW. You know, like with Chris Jericho, you know, he went out on social media and take shots at Brock Lesnar and making fun of him. He doesn't show up, this and that. And then you release information that Chris Jericho is going to be working a Brock Lesnar type schedule for AEW. So you're literally just being a hypocrite. You're just mad. I think Chris Jericho is just salty that he's not in Brock Lesnar's position at WWE. I guarantee you Chris Jericho would have never left the WWE if he was the Universal Champion and was allowed to work that schedule and make that kind of money. He would have never left. I guarantee it. I
Maybe
guarantee
so. Possibly so.
I think Chris Jericho wants to be Brock Lesnar.
You think so? You think Chris Jericho idolizes
I do.
Brock Lesnar?
Not necessarily be Brock Lesnar, but
Lesnar.
he wants to be in Brock Lesnar's position.
Fucking boring Brock Lesnar. Okay, just like no
He
one
wants
likes
I
that
don't know if it matters
position.
that much to him.
No one.
I don't see why it would matter that much to him.
He's an
because
egomaniac. He's the biggest egomaniac in freaking professional wrestling history. He's gotta be.
Well, he's just doing his job.
He did it to
I'm sorry.
WCW.
Well, he's just,
It's
like,
why he
doing
left.
His job.
It's why he came to the WWE in the first
doing
place.
his job with like this whole situation.
He literally said that they weren't going to put him over Goldberg. He wanted to beat Goldberg for the title at one of their pay-per-views, and they refused. They wanted to keep Goldberg on top. So that's what led to him signing with the WWE in the first place. And now, all this time later, he's doing it again. Because he had the opportunity of meeting the Khan family, and he took it, and now he wants to be that top guy in another promotion. He wants to be the number one in AEW, and I guarantee you, they're gonna turn around, and he's gonna be the first AEW champion.
I got a question.
That's gotta be part of the agreement. So
I got a
that's
question
gonna
for
piss
you
me
guys.
off.
I totally understand what you're saying, but this is a little bit different topic, but still going back to what we were talking about the whole promo stuff. Since Cody said in an interview once saying that, you know, he wants AEW to be more of a pro wrestling, not really much about entertainment, you know what I mean, just like pure wrestling. He said that a couple of times in interview and in articles and shit. Now, for you guys, my question is, if they are very limited in promos, which I think will happen, would you guys still watch AEW? Like, if there was, like, basically limited promos in it? Like, no, not really much storyline, but just more wrestling than just promos. Because right now, because we were just talking about how there's a lot of promos in WWE, and their wrestling time, like, been bad. They don't give us that much wrestling. And, you know, they're switching that up now, but how long are they going to be switching that up for in WWE?
No, I think
I mean,
you absolutely have to have a healthy mixture of both.
You think
to
so?
be successful. Yeah, definitely. If you watch,
I mean,
if you watch quote unquote professional wrestling 110% strictly just for the wrestling, then just go watch actual wrestling. Watch collegiate wrestling. Like, there's no substance or value to watching the in-ring performances, the actual matches, if there's no story behind it, there's no reason. Like, because it's fake. Like, wrestling is fake. Whoa. Like,
well,
there's no real
but
winner. Like, if the match is good and someone wins, then it's like, it doesn't matter because you don't know why. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there's no outcome to it because they didn't really win anything if you don't care about the story.
Because they have
Like,
this
you know what I mean?
whole thing of time limit going on, and I know you don't like that, and they say they're gonna keep track of record when the show comes on, like they're gonna keep track of win and loss and whatnot, and they have this whole time limit thing, which makes it seem more of looking like a more of a pro wrestling sport type show from what I'm seeing. And I know you don't like the whole time limit thing because you said they were like, because we were talking about it, you're saying there was no point of using that whole time limit thing and that it shouldn't really be a thing because it's not like an actual sport or whatever you put it as. I mean, if they want it to be that, I can understand if they want to use that and be unique and different. I mean, I guess it's a different thing because we haven't really seen that in wrestling. And I understand what you meant by, you know, there being no point to it because it's just wrestling. It's just, you know, it is what it is. But if they're trying to change, going back to about changing the world, if they're trying to change wrestling and adding this whole, you know, unique, not really unique because it's obviously been used in different sports, but having a whole like time limit and like player record and kind of making it more of an official type of sport in a way, then I can understand how they would try to have that like be different than an average, you know, Ring of Honor or TNA or WWE type style. Because
I get that, but I don't agree with taking something that the world already knows is staged and scripted and not real and trying to force us to believe that it is a real sport. Like, yeah, that to me is just silly.
But
like,
that's
you're just
true.
lying to my face. Like, I know it's not real, so don't try to tell me that it is. Just give me good professional wrestling and good storylines. That's all I want. Like, don't try to make it something that it's not. Like, this isn't the fucking 70s. Like, we get it. It's not real. Like, don't try to make professional wrestling something different. It is what it is. It's not going to change. You're not going to turn it into a real sport unless you're literally just going to say, all right, we're not going to decide who's going to win you guys just go out there and like wrestle, and whoever wins wins. Like that's the only way that works. And that's not gonna happen because then you're gonna have guys literally hurting each other to try to win. So
exactly.
you can't make it a real sport because it's not. Just accept it and leave it alone.
That's true. That's true.
Like, they're gonna try too hard to be different that they're gonna get unrealistic and silly, and it's gonna kill them in the long run.
I totally understand
We damn near went longer on AEW than we did on all of WWE.
that. Well, it's getting closer. It's the end of July. September and August is August and September is coming up, and then after that, it'll just be that show. It's gonna be on.
That's right. So we'll find out then. We'll know for sure.
Well, we'll have, of course, more spicy sources probably next month or the month after that.
How do you feel about it, Sheep?
Yeah, Sheep, you didn't say nothing the entire time.
I'm gonna wait and see. You know, I'm not very
but
excited
you don't have any
about
comments of what we brought up, like the whole thing of trying to change it and be different and whatnot.
Well, I mean, it's not that different, and yeah, they should change it. They should the
so
show
do you
the
agree
show
with the whole time limit thing and the stats?
That's fine. I agree with it. Yeah, those are good things, but they got to make good use of them, you know, and just having them there is not enough. You got to use them creatively and in different ways, you know. You got to make it matter, or it's just going to be like WWE and their wild card rule. You know, they've got to it's got to mean something. And I guess we'll find out if it does or if it doesn't, you know, in a couple months. But I'm kind of waiting and seeing. I'm not trying to be too super critical of them. I'm not trying to just hate on them all the time. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, I'll judge the shows the way I judge any show. But, you know, I'm not just going to sit there and say, oh, AEW sucks. You know, I'm just going to say I call it for what it is. So far, it hasn't been that impressive to me. There's like two really good matches on every show, and everything else is just like WWE.
What's the value in putting a time limit on something that's already has a time limit on it? Why announce a time limit for something that's already scripted to end at a certain time? Why?
For kayfabe.
How does that... But how is that a positive kayfabe thing? Or how does it make it any more exciting?
It gives you more than you get. You get because you get
5-minute time limit. And you're like, I know it's going to end within 5 minutes.
Because you have more than two options. You have more than 3 options. You have more than just one guy wins. This guy wins. This guy wins, or disqualification. That's about all you get in WWE. Now you have this guy wins. This guy wins. Disqualification. Time ran out, draw.
So it's gonna be like a constant like ring out count.
I hope not. I hope they use it. I hope they use it sparingly.
It's so old so fast.
Well, if they use it sparingly, and one thing about it is when you get down to that last 5 minutes or something, you're like, oh, something's got to happen. You start anticipating more, and it'll kind of put you on like the edge of your seat. You're like, oh, this is when it's really something's really gonna happen here, or it's not. When you hear that last minute and on an MMA fight, when you hear that clack, and they're like, that means the last minute, that's when the people like start going in and trying to finish the shit and trying to finish the fight, and that's when you really, really pay attention. I think that's a good thing overall, as long as they don't abuse it, overuse it, and use it creatively and sparingly.
Yeah, I agree with Sheep's saying. I think they have to creatively use that feature to make it right, to make it seem useful. But I understand both of you guys' sides. I know what Soul's trying to say, and I agree with that as well.
I understand what Shape's trying to say, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work the same as the UFC, because when that bell dings, they're trying to fucking kill each other for real. In professional wrestling, they're just putting on
us.
match.
But you're talking about to us. I'm talking about to Ben.
The people that would never
okay.
ever look.
Like in a course in this name. It's great.
Well, you're our.
Let's hear Ben's idea.
You are
Ben,
our
what do you
Mark.
think about the time
I'm
limit
not-
in AEW? What do you think about the time limit in AEW for each match, huh? What do you think about that?
Okay. The time
It doesn't matter what you think of. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just playing.
Okay.
I had to.
Breaking
Yeah.
kayfabe here. Yeah. I was like, why bring out the freaking Rock? Really? What? Okay.
Ben,
The
opinion
time
on the
limit, so-
time limit, please.
What the fuck? Hang on. Shut
I want
the
an
hell
actual
up.
real life time
Shape.
limit that matters.
Soul.
Go ahead.
So the time limit, so in AEW, it should kind of like, actually, well, it should be like kind of removed from like,
Oh,
the
yeah?
matches to be
You
exact.
think so? Why?
Yes.
Oh wow, Ben's critical of something on AEW. Go on.
Yeah, because of I don't know. It's just like the stupid like time limit. Because every single match that I always watch from AEW, because as soon as when they always announce like the time, it's just like, really, this is like, well, how much time, well, we actually do of course, like have left
Oh, yeah.
until like this match, of course, actually finally ends. So the Cody versus like, well, Darby Allin match, yeah, well, that was that was like, kind of like, like very like unpredictable. But now, like it's just the time thing. It's just getting old now. I'm sorry, like it is getting old.
It's been on TV for like all of like 3 months. How's
I
it?
know.
I agree. It's
but-
getting old to me as well. I actually agree with him. It got old to me in
Let
one
me
show.
break out my
After you
ice
announce
skates because hell
A
just
10
froze
minute
over.
time limit like 4 times in a row. It's already old.
Well, maybe
They
they
did
shouldn't
4
announce
times.
the time limit.
They're gonna announce the time limit for every
Oh,
match. Like,
Maybe they should just have
that's what
a.
I'm-
They should
that's
have
what
a
I'm talking
standard
about.
time limit, for every match, unless it changes. Like we have a different time limit for this match as opposed to the rest. They should have like a standard, like 10, 15-minute time limit, and that's
Yeah,
it for
that's
every
what
match. And they just they don't say it because it's inferred and everybody knows.
That's why things like Iron Man match exist.
I think that it's just something different. It's something that's not being done, and it's an attempt to
You're
break
thinking,
away
that's
from the norm.
That's the problem.
Bazinga.
This is your positive, hopeful Sheepshifter moment. It's about the time
Well, that
limit.
we all do that. That's what we all do. We all try to hope for the best. I hope for the best and expect the worst. I don't expect them to do any of the things that I said, but I hope they do.
Alright, well, I gotta get going.
Well, yeah, this is a good spot to go ahead and end the podcast. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Make
Bye,
sure you
guys.
check us out next week. Make sure you subscribe to Sheepshifter, Soulamazin, Streetkilln HD, and that Ben Rivers guy.
Yeah, of course.
All right, guys. Peace.